What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Show with another video, and today I just came back to explain why I've been gone for so long. Now, a couple of things happened. When I was sick, I guess that's the most important thing. I got sick for about a week or so, and honestly, I haven't made a video in like pretty much a month at this point. So this is my first video back for a while. I'm still a little sick, to be truthfully honest, but that's not really the main reason why I went away. The main reason I went away is two very specific games. I went away because of Sparking Zero, which I already knew there was going to be like an issue, and I went away because of Metaphor. Now I'm not gonna lie, today we're gonna be talking about Metaphor, right? But yeah, both these games have been taking a lot of my time. It just so happened, like, I got sick, I was able to take time off from work, and I was able to enjoy these games to the fullest. I haven't played Sparking Zero that much because I played it like the first couple of days, but then I ended up playing Metaphor as I was gonna kind of bounce between the two, and once I picked up Metaphor, I couldn't put it down. So we'll talk about that. Now, I finished it now. I just finished it recently. I finished it yesterday. I capped out at I think about 160 hours, something crazy, right? I did like a lot of the side quests. I got all my royal virtues to max. I pretty much did a lot of the side content. I didn't do everything. I didn't do enough to obviously 100% it just yet, but I'll probably go back in and do another run through at some point. I gotta say, man, this is refreshing. I'm not gonna lie. I know people hate turn-based JRPGs. They really do. I personally love them, and I will never ever get bored of the style. Now, I can't really say never ever, because there's some games I feel like, yeah, the turn-based combat is kind of like stale compared to other games. Like Persona was fun to me, right? And I thought that turn-based combat was fire, and I feel like Metaphor has a better turn-based combat than Persona. And now that's even more fire. But if I go back to something like Trails of Cold Steel or the Trail series in general, their combat seems very like lackluster in comparison. Still fun, you know what I'm saying? You'll still have a lot of fun with the combat, but it's kind of lackluster in a sense. And yeah, man, I've been playing Metaphor like crazy. I think it's a fire game. I'm not ready to crown it as my favorite game over Persona just yet. I've played a couple of turn-based JRPGs in this line for a while. I've played Persona 3, 4, and 5 Royal, Shin Megami. I think only one I played of that one is 5. I played the Nocturne 2. I beat Nocturne 2. I wouldn't really call myself an expert in the field, obviously, but I've played a lot of these. I've played pretty much every Final Fantasy. I definitely will say, look, if Persona is my number 1, then Metaphor is probably going to be my number 2. I felt like the story was really good. I felt like the power system, the turn-based combat was fire. I felt like exploration was at its best. I felt like it got rid of every annoying thing I hated about doing turn-based dungeon crawling adventure type games, and it just made it to where it was just easy and simple and just really fluid to get down through each dungeon. They had a time management system, but it didn't really feel like it really cramped you up into like a tight space where you couldn't really do what you wanted to do because you had to try to do these certain objectives. At a certain point in time, I was kind of like, I got too much time. Let me go to the Coliseum, let me do the tournament thing or something. Let me just do that, see if I can get some more XP, because I had a lot of stuff to do, but it's like I wasn't really pressed for time, if you know what I mean. Now, granted, I don't know that much about Metaphor. I know it's got to be related to the Persona franchise because, for one, it has Easter eggs written all over the thing. Now, another big game I was really rooting for was Soul Hackers, and even though I never really finished it fully, like I never really tried to super get into it, I just feel like that game in itself did not feel like a game I liked, to be honest. And it's weird that I thought I would never like another game besides Persona, but that game is similar. I think it was turn-based too. If there's something about it, I wasn't really feeling it. But this one in particular, is, to me, this is basically, I know people are going to do it a lot, right? Because it's what everybody does. Whenever you have a game that's like Persona, you compare it to Persona to death. Shin Megami 5. When they came out, people was comparing it to Persona. This is Persona, that is Persona. I remember I made videos talking about how you shouldn't compare the two, but you have to compare the two at the same time. You know, it is what it is. I think that pretty much sums up this game in terms of comparing the two Persona. Like, yeah, you shouldn't really, but they're both great games. They can stand on their own. honestly, for me, they're juggling between 1 and 2. I think I do like Persona a little bit more, and the only reason I like Persona a little bit more than Metaphor is only because of the music. The music in Metaphor is fire. Like, it's more epic, you know? Like, it's the type of music where, like, you're playing God of War and you're fighting these giant godlike boss battles and stuff, and it's like got these like, you know, chanting and stuff, and it's like super intense and hype and stuff, and it's cool. Metaphor music is great, amazing even. But me personally, I cannot get over Persona 5 soundtrack. To me, that, I don't want to say it hard carries, but it's just it's the reason why it's over a lot of JRPGs. I mean, we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I haven't played the second one yet. I played it, but I haven't really gotten into it. That's crazy because I was so busy that I couldn't make time for Final Fantasy, but Metaphor came and I loved it, made time for it. That's why to me, it's important to note that like this game is subtle differences make it like less or more than Persona to me. Like, I like the archetype system. I like that kind of anybody can use any kind of power, use your level of versatility that you don't get in other games, you know. I like that the story set in a fantasy world. I do love the high school setting in Persona franchise, but I just feel like at a certain point I'm glad to have those games over there, but that would be probably my only high school JRPG that I would play that deals with school. And I like the take was like the difference between fantasy and reality. That was a big theme of the game. I thought it was cool. A lot of twists and turns there. Like, some of them are predictable. Obviously, like, some of them you can kind of guess. But, like, at the same time, when you finally get to the actual reveals of certain things, it's fire. No contest. The whole thing is just crazy for me, right? Because if you look at it as a standalone game, it's fantastic. It's apparently supposed to be like 60-something hours to beat, which is not a long time if you're a JRPG fan. But, like, when I looked at that, when I looked it up, I was already 100+ hours in and not really finished with the game just yet. I think, yeah, if you would just speed through everything, worry about your social links, don't do any dungeons and stuff, don't try to do any of the extra stuff, you could definitely get this game done in like 50-60 hours for sure. I mean, at that point, you're pretty much speed running it. You're not really enjoying it. I think having it that low, I've seen it on like certain sites, but having it that low is kind of disservice, because even though that's just like a regular main story playthrough, I feel like you have to play other stuff than the main story. I feel like everything in itself is just connected so well that like I want to do these random dungeons. Like these little bounties that you get, that you go do these little random dungeons and monsters. That's fire to me. One thing I did like about this game, I thought was kind of cool. I thought that like the MP system was kind of like, I don't know if it was just me. I don't know if I went the whole game not knowing anything, but yeah, you do not recover MP. If I'm not mistaken, in certain other games, when you go into safe rooms and stuff, you heal up, you can eat and heal up and everything and pretty much get all your stuff back. In this one, you have to try to like conserve MP in a sense, and that to me makes it way more challenging, because a lot of your heavy hitting attacks is based off MP, based off magic power, and it's like, if you're not allowed to like keep spamming them and spamming them and spamming them to be able to grind, it's kind of hard, because you'll get to a point in the dungeon where you're like, oh, okay, I've run out of everything. And then you get to the boss at the end, and he's super hard to beat because you don't have any powerful attacks left, because you're trying to just survive the actual run of the dungeon. I ran into that a lot. Obviously there's ways around that. I feel like with JRPGs, there's always a way around everything. Like, there's certain ways you can build characters. Like, I think I built with the merchant line, where you can just use money and just end up getting super rich. I think that last dungeon that I was in, I pretty much conserved all my MP, even though they gave it back to you a couple of times. The last dungeon, I could pretty much conserve all my MP just by like using the money. I had like $1 million saved up, so I started just using money and just beating everybody with coins and money and stuff. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool that you can kind of have to struggle for MP, struggle for magic power. You don't just automatically get it when you go to a safe zone. Crazy thing is that, like, I'm not done though. I'm so fired up with the metaphor thing. I think there has like some trials. You gotta go fight some very powerful like creatures, either after the story or like the very end of the story where you're about to fight Luis. And to be honest, I kind of wish I went and did them, just simply because, I don't know, like the boss fight was kind of hard for me. I mean, I know everybody else probably had their build maxed out. You know, I was playing on hard. I wasn't playing on that. Was it Regicide? Whatever the one is like the highest. I didn't play on that one. I played on regular hard, but the boss fight in itself was kind of difficult for me. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you use a lot of strategy and a lot of like going back and training to kind of figure it out, but that's what I love. And in a sense, it's like, I kind of wish I would have did more in preparation. I thought I was good. I mean, I pretty much was running through everything else, and then this last little part was just like kind of difficult to get over. So maybe down the line, I mean, if they do end up doing like a royal edition of Metaphor, which is kind of on the nose considering it's about like choosing a king, then maybe. But I honestly don't think they should do that. I think they should just leave it how it is, just make it to where it's a standalone with DLC, and that's pretty much all it's ever gonna be, because I don't think this game needs to be retreaded or like redone or any sense. I don't really feel like how they can justify making a royal edition of just now. If they want to do it like they did Vengeance, which is another game I'm finna jump into soon after this, where they give you a whole completely different storyline, you know what I'm saying, set in the same world, the same mechanics. Okay, that might be something that been, you know, we'll see about that. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. スタープラチナザワやれやれだぜ。